Hi guys, hope you all can see me. There's a big glare coming in off the pool, but it's Eamon here, and we're going to do about 40 minutes of Pilates. All right, so I hope you're all keeping well. Anyone that's come to my classes before know that I like to combine a lot of stuff that involves stretching and flexibility with obviously the core work that we usually do in Pilates as well. All right, so we're going to do a mixture of that again today. If you're joining in, make sure you have a nice spot set out for yourself with a little bit of space to move around, obviously, because like I said, we like to do as much big movements as possible. Make sure your water is nearby as well, but not too close either, because as usual, we end up knocking it over a couple of times when we're too close to our body when we're doing certain moves. All right, so we'll get started in a minute. We'll just give it another few seconds just to see if anyone else is going to tune in, and then we'll get going. All right. So when you're ready to get started, guys, we can lie down on our mats. So we'll start off in our lying position, fully outstretched, legs long, arms by our side, and just relax as much as possible. Start to tune in with your body. Start just asking yourself a few questions about where you are in terms of your alignment, in terms of your positioning, in terms of what's going on, just in a simple lying position. So we'll start off with that alignment first. So think about from toe to head. Am I in a nice position here on the floor? Particularly in our back, tailbone, shoulder blades, head should be connected to the floor. We shouldn't be short on the body. Okay, so make sure your shoulders are down, your neck is long. You have a small arch in the bottom of your back, but we're not packed in and overarched. And then think about your alignment through your hips, okay? So I want as much as possible for the hips to be symmetrical, to be directly across from each other. And while you're focusing on that alignment as well, we're going to think about that rectangle and the line through our hips and the line through our shoulders being one end of the rectangle, and then obviously the sides of our body being the long ends of that rectangle. And as much as possible, we're going to hold on to those cues while we move through these exercises. Good. And now we're just going to start to focus on our breathing a little bit more. So continue taking nice deep breaths. Keep them as regular as possible. And as we start to breathe, we're going to start to engage the muscles down the lower part of our torso. So we're going to imagine these muscles as a harness around our hips, okay? So they're drawing our hips up, and then they're wrapping around our hips as well. And as we exhale in particular, we're going to start really connecting with those muscles, all right? So as you exhale, just focus on the connection and the tension in those muscles, drawing them up, wrapping them around. Connection might only last a few seconds, and just focus on reconnecting every time we breathe. And again, if you start to struggle at any stage, just come back to those cues, okay? Think about that alignment, that rectangle, that connection into the bottom of our torso, right down into our pelvic floor, TBAs, all those core muscles down there. Couple more breaths. And while we're breathing, we're just going to start with some simple little movements with our arms, okay? So keeping the arms long, we're going to bring them up overhead. And in this position, I just want you to focus on your back. So when we bring our arms up overhead, what happens to our back, to our spine? If we find we're overarching, if our back pops forward, just draw back down and try and relax and allow the muscles in the shoulders and the front of our chest to stretch out. Good. What I want you to do now is just start to bend your elbows and bring your arms and your elbows down towards the rib cage as far as you can. Try and keep the back of your upper arm or your lower arm connected in the back of your hand, and then slide them up again. Inhale, exhale as we go. Again, allow the muscles in the torso to stretch out, and shoulders. Try and keep back of your lower arm, back of your hands, connect to the floor as much as possible. If they start to rise, that's fine. Okay, remember, we're only just focusing on stretching everything out. Good, one more time. And slide it up. Good, then draw your arms down nice and long, back down to the hips. We're going to lift them up again, and this time we're just going to focus on a bit more tension. So we're going to create the tension in our arms. We're going to imagine that somebody's got ropes around their wrists and they're trying to pull our arms back, and we're going to draw them down by activating the tension in our body, drawing them down with tension. Inhale, let them go back. Exhale, draw them down with tension and bring that tension all the way down into your core. So let's do one more. Good, we're going to open them out to the side this time, okay? Same thing, we're going to create the tension by imagining someone is pulling our wrists away, and we're going to draw them in with our torso. Release it out, draw it in. As we exhale, increase the tension in our body. So we're not pulling with our biceps, we're drawing them in with all the muscles in our body, creating the tension ourselves. Good, one more time. Good, but then when you're ready, link your fingers together, bring up your left knee, hold on to it with your arms again, pull the knee into the chest, and then extend to the ceiling, lower down at the heel. Good, lift up, pull it in with the hands, release and down, and again, and up. This time, bring your hands by your side. We're just going to bend the knee up ourselves, lengthen with the toe, drop with the heel, and then in, stretch, lower with the heel. Now just make sure on this one you're not pressing into the heel on the opposite foot. So bring the tension and the balance through here. Don't drive your opposite leg into the floor. Extend and lower with the heel. Bend, extend, lower with the heel. One more time. Good, when you're ready, let's do the other leg. So start off with our active stretch as we pull it in. Just for a few seconds, lengthen, draw it down, bring it up. Lengthen, down, bring it up. Lengthen, down, bring it up. And then release the hands to the floor. We become a little bit more passive in that stretch. The body is just doing the work. We're not extending it. Again, keep the core switched on. Keep those muscles switched on in that pelvic floor, that TVA. Lengthen to the ceiling with the toe, drop at the heel. Good, and then relax. When you're ready, let's bring that left knee in. Let's bring the right knee in to join it. Think about a vertical line through your upper leg and a horizontal line through your lower leg. Good, and when you're ready, let's reach your arms up to the ceiling. Again, don't shorten the torso, make sure that neck is long. Pull the shoulders down slightly. And let's just work on the legs first. We're going to extend the right leg, drive into the heel, then bring it back to 90 degrees, and do the same on the other side. Left leg out, back to 90 degrees. And try and keep everything else as still as possible. So just waking up those core muscles, give them a little bit of work to do right from the get-go. Drive into the heel so that you tense up the thigh. Get a little bit of a stretch in the back of the ankle. Good, one more time each side. Right leg, drive out. Left leg, drive out. Then bring it in. Bring the knees in. Just get a little bit of relief here as you pull your knees in slightly. And take a deep breath, and when you're ready, go back to that 90-degree position through the legs. Again, thinking about that vertical line through the upper legs, horizontal line to the lower legs. So we don't want to be here or tucked in more than we need to be, okay? 90 degrees as much as possible. Arms up to the ceiling. We're just going to work the arms this time, okay? Right arm is going to go back. Draw it up again. Build the tension just like we did before. Imagine somebody's pulling your arm back. So you're really having to draw it in hard and firm. and activate the muscles in your torso to tense up and bring it in. Okay, so you create the tension. Good, a few more times. Good, one more time on the left. Draw it in, and again, just a little bit of relief by pulling the knees in. And we're going to activate the two together this time, okay? So back to 90 degrees with the legs, arms up to the ceiling, nice and controlled, nice and deliberate. We don't have to rush through this. Right arm is going to go back as the left leg extends, and then return to the start position. Then we go left arm back, right leg out, and return to the start position. And again, we can keep the head down for this. There's no reason to lift it up. We just want to focus on the movement. There is enough work in there if we stay active and keep that core connection as we move right, left, left, right. One more time each side. Lovely. And again, get that little bit of relief as you just pull your knees in ever so slightly. Good. And when you're ready, let's bring our feet to the floor. Just to add to that relief in our lower back and get a little bit of a stretch in area there. We're going to reach our arms out from our shoulders, keep the head pointed forward, and just let the knees fall down to the right side, and then let them fall down to the left, right and left. Breathe as we go. When we're stretching, guys, remember, tense muscles won't stretch, so don't hold your breath. Really activate that breathing while you're stretching, particularly as you exhale. That's when the muscles will stretch at their optimum. Good. When you're ready, just stay on the left-hand side. So bring your knees to the left and just roll onto your left-hand shoulder and bring your hands together. You can keep your head down for this, okay? I'm going to do two little stretches for the shoulder and the chest. So we're going to open up the right arm and reach it back. Follow it as much as possible with your eyes and then bring it in. Reach it back. And breathe in. So what we want to try and do here as much as possible is not turn the hips, okay? So we want to keep the hips locked. We're just going to work on our shoulder mobility, opening and closing. We're obviously going to work on our thoracic mobility as well so that we're rotating through our upper body, which is allowed to happen. Good. We're going to stay on this side. This time what we're going to do, we're just going to draw a circle on the floor, up and around our head, and reach it back as far as you can. And then draw it up in front of the body so the hands meet again. What we want to try and do here is see how far we can go with keeping our fingers connected to the floor. Okay? So if you only go to here and your arm starts to lift off, that's fine, okay? But obviously there's just some issues. The shoulder mobility has to be worked on. Allow your head to turn to follow it back to your eyes. Let's do one more on that side. Big circle all the way back. Stay connected to the floor as much as you can in front of the body. And then we can go to the other side, okay? So same thing on the other side, guys. We're going to bring the knees over, hands together, onto the right shoulder. And again, deep breath. Open up the left hand, reach it out. And bring it in. And again, reach it out. And bring it in. Inhale, exhale as we go again. One more time. And bring it in. Lovely. Then we're going to draw that circle on the floor. Up and over our head. Following back with our eyes as much as possible. Keeping our hand connected to the floor as long as possible when we draw that circle. Good. One more time. Lovely. When we're ready, let's come back to that rear facing position. And we're going to add a little bit of work now, guys. So we've done a little bit of stretching, that bit of relief. On comes the work. Series of 5. So when you're ready, extend the right leg, bring the left leg in, lift the shoulders up, and look down the inside of your leg. And when we're ready, we're going to switch, holding on with our core, keeping everything else still for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Straight into that double leg stretch. So legs go away, hands behind, and back in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Lift up the right leg. Long leg stretch this time for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. The legs up long, cradle the head with the hands, lower down with control and up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Bend the right leg, left leg long and low. Turn those shoulders, guys. Opposite elbow to opposite knee. And then switch for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Bring those knees in. Just get a little bit of relief. Good stuff. When you're ready, hold on the back of that left thigh. Use it just to roll up to a seated position. And we move on. Let's get a little bit of a stretch before the next bit of work. Bend the knees slightly if you need to, so that we can go as low as we can. Take a deep breath, inhale up, exhale down. Grab behind the ankles. Fold the body into your thighs as you exhale. So deep breath. Fold it in. Good, then roll out it nice and carefully. Hands behind the hips. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Open up the collarbone to the ceiling. And breathe for 3, 2, and 1. Good. From here, make your legs a little bit wider apart. And you turn to a slight angle so you can see what I'm doing. Good. Bring your arms out from your shoulders. Take a deep breath. Rotate first, guys, then reach opposite hand towards opposite ankle. And again, focus on the rotation first. Rotate and then reach. If you don't get to your foot or your ankle, don't panic. That's not the point. Just allow the body to stretch by focusing on your breathing. Exhale, reach. If you exhale and reach, the body will stretch a little bit further every time. And if you do this consistently, you will get better flexibility. Good, relax. Bring your hands behind your hips again. A little bit of a cheeky one, guys, just before we do our next bit of work. All we're going to do is very simple. We're going to try and keep those shoulders down. We're just going to lift up our left leg ever so slightly off the floor. Put it down, lift up the other leg. Lower, lift. Lower, lift. Lower, lift. So we're really going to work the hip flexors and the thighs, but we keep that core connection. Opposite leg, lift, and lower. Just a few inches off the floor. And feel your thighs to really start to tense up. Good, and just to be a little bit more cheeky, let's hold up the right leg and keep it there. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Left leg, lift. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Relax for a second. Bend in your left leg. Keep the hands slightly behind the hips. Make sure your torso is long. Okay, so what we don't want to be here, we don't want to be slouched down, but we don't want to be overarched either. Okay, so just make sure your torso is long and sitting into those hips nice and comfortably. Engage your core. When you're ready, all we're going to do is we're going to lift up this right leg and lower it down. Lift, lower, lift, and lower for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good stuff. When you're ready, we're going to go back a little bit further this time onto our elbows. So in that rear facing position, we're going to lie down a little bit further again, making sure our core is engaged to protect your lower back. And when you're ready, let's lift up the right leg again. It's going to go a bit higher, so we're leaning back a bit more for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it up. Good, draw a little circle on the ceiling from the hip. Try and keep everything else still. So really having to work to stop pressing the opposite leg. Circle back the other way for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Come up to a more upright position. Switch legs. Left leg is going to go up and down for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower back down. Keep that torso strong. When you're ready, lift and lower for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it up. Let's draw that circle on the ceiling. Let's go back the other way. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And lower down. Take a deep breath. When you're ready, sit up again. Just get a little bit of flexion in that back by squeezing those shoulder blades together. Knees are bent. Wrap your arms around your legs. And then try and straighten them as much as you can. Just to stretch out the back for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Okay, guys, we're going to go on to the next part. Starting off in an all-fours position, okay? I'm going to use these little pads here. If you have a small cushion or a folded up towel, you can do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off, there's about 3 different elements to this next part of exercise, and we're just going to focus on each element individually before we bring in the bit of work where we're doing them all together, okay? So I'm going to start off with my little pad under my right knee. I'm going to put my left leg forward, okay? Good, and from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hands down on the floor inside that left leg, okay? From here, guys, I'm just going to take a deep breath and I'm going to extend, lifting my left leg and straightening my leg out as much as possible, keeping my shoulders over my wrists, feeling the stretch in the hip flexor at the back, keeping that core connection. Then I'm going to reach up with my inside left hand and follow it up to the ceiling as far as I can and hold this stretch for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Bring it back down. Then we're going to drop the knee. We're going to come back to that half kneeling position. I'm going to lengthen this side of my body on my right. I reach my right hand up and over and think about pulling my hip down. And don't just let your hand flop over. Think about reaching it up and away. 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Bring the hand down and relax. We're going to move between these 2 exercises, guys. We're going to shorten the hold at either end. Okay, so starting off with that deep lunge rotation. Hands down. When you're ready, extend that leg. Rotate, reach up, follow with your eyes. Hold for about 2 seconds. Drop it down, drop the knee. Press into that front heel, come up, reach over, lengthen that right side of your body. Bring it down, hands down, extend, rotate, 2, 1. Back down, drop that knee, press into that front heel, up we come, reach up and over, and hold for about 2 seconds. Down, we're going to do 3 more. Rotate, follow it up. Down, drop the knee, press into that front heel, come up nice and tall, reach it up and over, lengthen that right side of the body, draw that hip down, press into that knee on the floor. Hands down, 2 more times. Rotate, look up, really stretch out that back leg. When you reach up, press into the knee, squeeze the glute on that side. Last time, hands down, rotate up, down, drop the knee, press in, up and over, and then relax. Good, when you're ready, guys, we're going to switch sides, okay? So, on my left knee this time, starting off with a longer stretch at the beginning with the 2 exercises involved, okay? So make sure that foot is flat, hands are down on the floor, flat as well, and think about the position of your spine. All right, so we want to try and keep that spine as neutral as possible. When you're ready, lift that back leg, Straighten it out as much as you can to feel the stretch in the hip flexors. Try and keep the hips as low as possible. So again, breathe into the stretch. Exhale, allow the muscles to do their job. Reach it up, follow it up with your eyes. And really try and straighten up that back leg while you're rotated for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Hands down. Drop the knee to the pad or your towel. When we come out of this position, we want to make sure the spine stays neutral. So I want you to really press into the front heel and squeeze the bum on the left. Okay, so we come up to this half kneeling position, and then we're going to reach up and over, drive that knee into the floor. Think about the hip being pulled down. Lengthen that side of your body. We're not just rotating over. Think about lengthening all the way down for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Let's put the two elements together. Hands down. Stretch. Inside right hand. Rotate. Follow it up. Straighten out that left leg. Only about 2-second hold. Knee down. Up we come. Lengthen. 2, 1. Down we come. Extend. Rotate. Follow it up. Down. Knee down. Up we come. Lengthen that side of the body. And again, 3 more times. Hands down. Extend. And again, drop the knee. Up we come. Lengthen that side of the body. Push that knee to the floor. Squeeze on that side. 2 more to go. Rotate. Straighten. 2-second hold. And then switch up the other side. Good. Last time. Extend. Rotate. Down. Drop the knee. Up. And up we come. And then relax. Lovely. From here, come back to an all fours position. And when you're ready, just go into your child's pose with your knees apart and your feet together as much as you possibly can. Push those hips back onto the heels and walk the fingers forward for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Good. Well done, guys. We're going to come into a side position next. I'm going to hold on to this pad. Just give me a little bit of support under the elbow. So again, if you have your rolled up towel or your small cushion, whatever it may be, bring it with you. We're going to start off with our elbow underneath our shoulder. Good. We're going to have our lower leg that's connected to the floor, slightly bent. And as much as possible, we're going to try and get our hips stacked, okay? So that means the hip is over, top hip is right over that bottom hip. So we're not rolled back, we're not rolled forward, keeping that rectangle, shoulders and hips as much as possible, okay? Nice and simple, guys. We're just going to lift that top leg about 6 inches off the floor. And we're going to think about lengthening it out. If you have to use that top hand for support, that's fine. But again, as much as possible, try not to rotate back. Try to keep that rectangle through the shoulders and the hips as much as we possibly can. We're just going to hang out there. And what I want you to imagine you're doing now is lengthen the leg out of the hip. So when I say that, that doesn't mean that we automatically slide our hips bound. Hips stay in position. Think about lengthening the leg out from the hip for 3, 2, and 1. Let's lift it up slightly and lower it back to that starting position. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's tap the floor and lift back to that starting position for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back to that starting position. Bend the knee, sweep it forward. So bicycling it forward and sweeping it back. Try and keep everything as still as you possibly can for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go back the other way. Sweep it forward, bend it back. So bicycle it back the other way for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Extend it back to that starting position. When you're ready, let's just give a little pulse up and down. Should start to feel the pinch in the hip now. Take it out of it if you can. Put it in the core for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower it down. Good. We're going to bend that lower leg a little bit more, keeping the hips stacked. I'm just going to go into a little bit of a side plank position, but before we do, we're going to try and activate this side of our body by building some tension, okay? So keeping the hips stacked, I want you to imagine you're trying to draw your elbow, so really pull that elbow into your hip elbow that's on the floor, trying to pull it into your hip. You should activate some tension then on that side of your body. Hold that tension. Breathe into it for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax for a second. We're going to activate that tension again. And when we do this time, we're going to lift our hips up so we're in a side plank position. Okay, so when you're ready, draw that tension in. Pull that elbow into the hip that's on the floor. 3, 2, 1. Lift the hips up. Keep that leg extended on the top, knees bent on the bottom. Lots of tension on this side of the body. Make sure our hips are stacked still. We hold on to that rectangle. Good. This is our simple side plank position, guys. All right. So if we start to struggle with any of the progressions, you go back to the simpler version. All right. Hold the tension. When you're ready, let's bring that top arm away. Try and keep your neck long. It's going to feel like it's going to want to fall down. Good, let's bring that arm under for a slight rotation of the top shoulder. Hold the tension on the right side and rotate it out for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Reach that arm overhead. Think about a line from that top leg here, right out to the tip of your fingers that's beside your head. Let's bring that hand down long, reach for the knee, and sweep it back. Lift the leg slightly to meet halfway for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax for a second. At any stage, if you need to take a break, then do. Don't jeopardize your position by staying up longer than you have to, okay? Usually what happens is we start getting pain in our shoulder or we start falling out of position. So if that happens, just relax for a second before you come back in. Remember, the lifting is done through here. So that's what I want you to really bring the tension to as much as possible, especially if we start to struggle in other areas. Try and focus on the core. When you're ready, we're going to go one more time just for another variation. So draw on that tension again, pulling that elbow into the hip. Make sure the hips are stacked and lift into that side plank position. Reach the arm up overhead. Bring the elbow down to meet the knee and reach away for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Reach it away and then relax it down. Lovely. I'm going to switch to the other side. Well done, guys. We're nearly there. All right. Starting that side leg series on the other side. Elbow down. Think about the position. Bend the knee. Make sure the hips are on top of each other as much as possible. Top leg is long. Elbows underneath our shoulder. Good, and when we're ready, let's lift up that top leg, 6-inch position. Definitely not as strong as this top leg, it's already suffering. And just hang out here and think about lengthening it out from the hip for 4, 3, 2, and 1. When you're ready, let's lift it up slightly, lower back to that starting position. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Tap it down. Lift it back to that starting position only. 2, and 1. Good. Bend the knee. Sweep it forward. Just move this head slightly, just so I can get into a stronger position. Good. And let's go back the other way. Bend it forward. Squeeze it back. 2, and 1. Extend the leg back to that starting position, and let's go little up, little down. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax it down for a second. We're going to set up for that side plank. So remember, create the tension first. Let's just practice. Create that tension. So imagine you're trying to draw that elbow in, squeezing down onto that side of your body. Keep the hips in position. Create that tension and breathe into it. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release it for a second. Good. So when we create that tension, guys, it'll almost feel like your body is shaking. All right, that's how much tension we're creating. We're really squeezing all those muscles. When you're ready, let's create it again. Draw that elbow in. When you're ready, we're going to lift up those hips into that side plank position. So lift the hips up. Keep the top hip stacked. Try and keep your neck long, shoulders square. Hold that tension. Like I said, I'm struggling a little bit more this side, and we can add the variations then if and when we need to. So if you're struggling in this position, then just don't mind the variations too much. But when you're ready, bring that arm away if you can. Rotate under for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Up and over with that arm. Really reach that top leg away. Lift, hand down to the knee for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax for a second. Trying to lose that connection a little bit. So know that if you lose that connection, reset so that we can grab onto it again. When you're ready, build that tension. Deep breath, lift up. Last variation. Arm up by the side. Bring the elbow down, knee up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 more. 6. Oh, really struggling that side. Come down. Relax for a second. Use that little cushion or that little towel so that you can rest your head on it. And line up front facing position. Take a few seconds just to realign and refocus for the last little bit of work we're going to do. Good. When you're ready to start to curl up, so we'll actually just clear our collarbone up for this one. So hands down, just lift up your collarbone ever so slightly. You're just going to curl and release that right leg. So heel up. And again, keep everything else still, bar your hamstring is doing the lifting. And let's just add a little bit of a double pump at the top. Lower, double, lower, and double pump at the top. Good, we're just going to stay on that right leg and hold it in and squeeze. So increase the tension in the hamstring as if we're trying to squeeze something in the crease of our knee, and breathe into the tension. So every time we exhale, let's increase the tension in that muscle for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release it nice and slowly. Give it a few little gentle pumps to finish off, and then we go to the other side. Left leg, heel in, out, in, and out. And again, be aware of your position. Your heel will go as high as it will when the hamstring is working. Okay, so just make sure you're not wrenching up your back to bring it in. We want to keep everything nice and still and just work on that hamstring to the back of the upper leg. Those muscles there. Go to double pump when you're ready. Little pump. Down, double at the top. Down. Keep the core connection, guys. It's a very simple exercise, so give you a chance just to focus on that connection to those lower core muscles. When you're ready, let's bring it in and squeeze. Increase the tension as you breathe. Really activate those muscles, guys. Squeeze behind the leg. Should almost feel like it's going to cramp up. That's how much tension you should be bringing to that area for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax it out slowly and just give another few pumps. Lovely. When you're ready, guys, hands outside the shoulders. Deep breath. Push back and sit back on the heels again to that child's pose. So you get that little bit of a stretch in the back. Walk the fingers forward as much as you can while keeping the hips back. So every little inch you can get. And we're walking those fingers forward and breathe. Good. Come up to an all-fours position. Flex the feet into the floor and go into your downward facing dog. So heels down, head down between the arms. hips up in the air. Deep breaths. Good. When you're ready, walk your hands back towards your feet. When they get there, just stay down for a few seconds. What I want you to do is bend your knees so that you connect your body to your thighs. Grab down behind your ankles, your calves. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, try and straighten the legs. Keep your body connected. Bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. One more time. Bend and straighten. Chin on the chest. Straighten the legs fully this time. And then roll up from the bottom of your back. Almost one vertebra at a time for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Last little bit we're going to do standing up, guys. I'm going to move back so you can see me. Hopefully you'll be able to still hear me. Good. When you're ready, guys, we're going to come into a nice wide stance position. So widen the feet, have the toes pointed out, and then bend the knees, sitting the hips under, okay? So make sure we're not pushing the hips back. Just push the hips down as much as you can. Sitting into them, and let's just give a little pulse from here. Hands up in front of the chest for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Reach the hands out to the side again. Tuck the hips under, and a little pulse up and down for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Draw the hands in, open them out, keep those hips low for 5, 4, 3, lose my balance. It happens. 2, and 1. When you're ready, bring your right hand down towards the floor, left hand up to the ceiling, follow it up with your eyes for 3, 2, and 1. Let's do the same thing the other side. Left arm down, right hand up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the hands down to the floor, straighten the legs, walk them in slightly, grab your toes, and then sit down, slide your knees outside your arms, try and lift your chest up while your hips go down for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Straighten the legs safely. One more time, down we go. Knees outside the arms. Lift the chest up and breathe into those hips for 3, 2, and 1. Straighten the legs safely, chin on the chest, and draw yourself up nice and slow for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's just give one big roll of the shoulders. Go, take a deep breath, inhale up, and exhale down. One more time, inhale up, and exhale down. And we're done. Thank you very much, guys. Hope you enjoyed that and got some benefit out of it. Hopefully we'll all see you back in here very soon. Okay, take care.